had no idea Pereira cornered Anderson Silva for a fight.
I was in the corner for Anderson for that fight when Anderson fought Israel Adesanya. And the day of the fight, they came up to me and they're like, "Can Alex take your spot?" I was like, "Why?" And they kind of alluded to the fact that they're building for...
Wow. And look at that.
Like, this is 3 years before. This is 2018. I don't need to be there. He knows what we talked about. But if this set up Alex to be in a position, I'll put him in there because I care about all our athletes making as much money, getting as much notoriety. As a coach, I want to expand everyone's career.
That would have been crazy if he was like, nah.
and then Alex never got the belt.
Yeah. That Korean-Brazilian alliance would be over forever.
Welcome back to the Casuals MMA and Combat Sports Show, hosted by casual fans that don't know anything at all. So if we say crazy things here, it doesn't matter. It's not important. My name is Gilbert. Over here is our real professional fighter.
That's not true.
He's 1-1 champion, Nick
500 record, baby.
And then to his left, we got David So. This guy's been fighting corporate tech companies. This dude got in trouble with social media, with Instagram, but he doesn't care. He shows his on there. Give it up for David So.
Mark Zuckerberg, you're a and I hope Elon Musk you in the
Whoa.
Ever since that little took over Instagram has been this soft place.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg, you could suck a your jujitsu sucks and you can't fight.
Yeah. So you should get what? Fucked in the... You said in the...
I hope you
by Elon Musk. That was what you said, right? On record.
This is the worst hype man I've ever seen in my entire
the
life.
worst promoter on earth.
Laying traps all over.
I just want to make sure that's what you said.
But hey, more importantly, because of Nick's weird derail over there.
Yeah, you bitch.
We got a special guest. If you like acronyms in the medical field, we got a PT. We got DPT.
Get it
we
right.
We got a SCS.
And a BAB, a badass bitch.
And an OG trainer of the UFC. Get it for Dr. Jason Park.
We have to start with this. You have to bow to him on your knees, and you have to start and say "Sombenim." That's what you have to do.
Oh, starting off with stuff right away.
Yeah, say "Pak Sombenim."
Yeah.
There you go.
And then someone photoshopped someone behind his butt.
All right, Gilbert, your turn. You're next. All right, here we go. And you have to face him, you disrespectful piece of shit.
Camera.
There you go. There you go.
Oh.
Yes, nice.
And then what do you have to do?
Not me. I'm Korean.
Wait, what? Non-Koreans?
You made the Southeast Asians do this shit? This seems racist.
Yeah, dude. This is some superiority stuff. Oh, that's a deep bow. That's a deep bow.
Bro, this guy's got dents in his shins.
Do your stuff, baby.
So, David, can you tell us how you know this master?
Actually, it was through Bart, right? So did Barbell hit you up?
No. Bart hit me up, actually.
Put the mic a little closer.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Bart hit me up, and, we were doing a pop-up for Anderson.
Anderson who?
Yeah, Anderson. What
Anderson Silva.
Let's go.
Oh, wow.
Anderson Pac.
It's just really growing huge. And it was on La Cienega. And so he was always wanting to train. He was like, "Oh, can I come in and see what's going on?" And then we just developed a training relationship. Yeah, so we set up a couple sessions, and then you joined in on the third one, I think.
Yes, it was very painful. I was very tired. That's when I just started. I literally just started for I think at that point we were training for less than a year. Yeah. And so I was trying to lose weight, and I met this guy. I thought he was a white guy because his last name is Dunn.
Right.
And it turned out he wasn't. I was deceived. He was a weird-eared little Asian girl.
Says the ear. For
right? I saw his ear. I was like, "You do jujitsu. Get the fuck out of here. I'm looking for a fucking kickboxer."
Punch like this, dude. You're fine.
Yeah. I was actually surprised how large you were. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. You're a fucking big ass dude. I had no idea, because when you see videos, you don't see comparison in size. Yeah. And then when I saw you, I was like, uh-oh. This is
How tall are you, Jason?
Right now, I'm
right now.
I'm 6 foot. Yeah, right on the dot.
Really? I feel like you're
taller, dude.
You just have a larger stature, huh?
Well, I think a lot of it, I fought at 155 and 160 when I was fighting. I walked around 183, so I had to cut a lot. So I was really skinny when I was competing, and then I tore my retina when I was 25, so that ended my career. And so when I switched over to coaching, my first few guys were 155 was the smallest, and middleweights, light heavyweights, and I think just naturally holding for them built that density, right? Because you have to, Nick knows, when you hold, you can hold and take it in your joints, or you can hold and hit, and it feels like you're weightlifting. because you're impacting correctly. So I think that really built up a lot of density. You know, and 10 years in the game now. You know,
How did you tear your retina?
it was during a fight. Yeah, so I took a shot that was directly on the eyeball.
Was it Vitor Belfort on TRT kicking your face?
No, it's just one of those crazy things, like, you know, because what happens with the retina is like when it gets a direct hit, it takes the impact and then it stretches back out, and then the film in the back is the retina, so that can tear. And I found out that like I was in the 99th percentile because I'm so nearsighted. But I was like, how did I never have an injury before? So it's just stroke of luck that 10 years.
Did you get the light flashes where you see?
Yeah, I got flashes and a lot of floaters. But luckily I never, like, I saw it right away. You know, I was in my first year at USC for my doctorate program. So I was like, let's not take risks. Let's find out what that is. And so luckily I never got to a point where like the shade is where it becomes the worst.
Yeah.
You see floaters, you see flashes, and then when you start seeing the shade, that's literally your retina peeling off.
Jesus.
And that's when your vision gets really impaired.
Yeah, I got hit in my right eye, and then I saw flashes, so I started freaking out. And then now I have like a little more floaters than I normally have because I already had got corrective surgery, which already because of that I have a propensity to have more floaters.
Right.
And when I got it checked, they're like, "Oh, nothing tore, but I had a minor." So I'm like, "Uh-oh, I'm gonna chill out a little bit."
A little hole that scars out on its own.
Exactly. So I had to chill out after that.
Let's just not spar anymore. Let's not do that.
We just don't got to hit each other in the face like that. You know what I mean?
Don't tell that to Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, just for our audience, you said with your fight, so you have a Muay Thai background.
Right.
How did you get into that?
My first two sports were golf and
So
taekwondo.
Korean.
Very
So Korean,
right?
bro.
And then when I turned 15, all my older brothers in the gym all went to college, and I was like, what am I going to do? Just be the biggest, oldest person in the room? That's stupid. I'm 15. So I switched over to look for boxing and Muay Thai and challenged myself another level, and I was very lucky. I found Hermosa Beach Boxing Works, which is now just Boxing Works with Brian Popejoy. Luckiest thing that ever happened to me. And I was a rebel Korean. I left golf, I left taekwondo, and went into amateur boxing and Muay Thai.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I was 23 fights as an amateur until when I tore my retina.
Jeez.
And Brian has a very strong rule of that's why we have such strong amateurs and pros. Like, you're not allowed to turn pro until you're at least 30 fights.
Gee.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, so when people ask, why didn't you turn pro? It's like, that's the system. It's like we develop more as amateurs. So that way, when you turn over as a pro, you're very experienced. You know how to adjust.
Let me ask you this then, right? So, boxing and kickboxing has become so popular now, whether because of YouTubers, social media, or whatever. So what do you feel about people like the Paul brothers who've never had an amateur match, really technically, like maybe one, and they go straight to pro? How does that work?
Yeah. Straight to Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah.
I think they're really savvy in both ways, both business-wise. They developed really well from YouTube and putting themselves in the conversation of places, and then they train hard. Like, I can't take that away from them. Like, I know people who work with them, and I just hear the same thing. They train like professionals, and they listen really well. I think that's the thing. Like, they might talk, they put on a good show, but what I hear is when they're in the gym, they listen. They're students of the game. And so what you're seeing is talent or experience maybe losing to just someone who studies and trains hard.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what Bernard Hopkins, who I really love, was like always someone I studied. Like, he always talks about be a student of the game constantly, or the game will eat you.
Wow. Okay. So for them, where would you place their skill level at in terms of, let's say, a pro boxer, right?
Right.
I've we've all seen pro who really aren't that good too.
Right.
I mean, I don't believe that they're that level.
Right.
So what would you place their skill at in your opinion?
Especially Jake Paul, because he seems like
Jake Paul is probably like the one that's doing more. I don't pay too much attention. Like, whenever those fights come up, like, I've only seen
I've never paid for one. So.
Jake fight really. Jake was the only one I watched when he fought Anderson, but that was pretty much it, right? And so, like, it's hard to tell, but I think it's one, they're lucky that they don't have a really strong division, right? Like, those aren't the big money fights that you're seeing. They're usually the lighter weights right now, or super heavyweight. So that's where I think they're really capitalizing on that. There's this market, and no one's really watching people who can challenge them.
Yeah, I think Jake is going to fight an actual pro boxer next.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see.
Guy had like 8, 9 fights or something like that,
Right.
pro.
I wish just when he fought Anderson, I was like, Anderson, can you just do steroids? Like, just please.
He was begging for steroids.
I was begging for him just to come out and look like Vitor Belfort, just please. But then he's an honorable man, and I dislike it.
Yeah.
Did you help with that camp at all?
No. I just, helped if he asked any questions in terms of like, just kind of seeing from someone who's worked with him. But he had his trainers that he worked with for many years in boxing. So I just came in like week to week and just said hello and just support him along the way.
What is something that you think that he could have done in that match that he could have done better?
It's always hard to say. I think there are certain rounds that he took off and then maybe kind of allowed Jake to get back into the fight. I think closing out that last round, you never really know what the circumstances of a knockdown can be, especially in that kind of situation. So, it was a very close fight. You wonder if like he could push the gas to close out a couple rounds, take advantage of hits, like especially when Jake was ducking his head, like to uppercut a little bit more. But it's chaos in there, especially when that pandemonium. I was in the 4th or 5th row, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, as a fan, when we look at that type of stuff too, like Anderson Silva's like our childhood heroes.
Yeah.
So when you
He's
see
our
him,
GOAT.
and he's there in his late 40s,
Right.
I always wonder like why, like because Father Time always wins.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really hard fight for me to watch because, the vision that we have of Anderson Silva is very different from what this young new generation thinks of him.
Right.
Because they don't know of how, you could watch replay tapes all you want of all these great fighters. But if you weren't there watching it when it happened, it's very different. It's like when I have conversations with people about Mike Tyson, right? I only know Mike Tyson towards his latter career age.
Right.
Yeah.
But you talk about people who have watched it when he was a young kid in his teens all the way up. The way they describe stuff, I can't feel what they felt because I didn't see it happen in the time.
You didn't feel that cultural shift.
That buzz.
Yeah.
Right? We were watching little like fights here and there, but like it doesn't have that narrative. Like I was watching the Redeem documentary the other day.
So good.
About like the NBA, really Americans trying to win in the Olympics with that Redeem team. And Anderson Silva and Kobe Bryant were my two heroes, right? And that's what's kind of driven me forward, like trying to emulate, trying to find out how they did their craft. And I came very close. With Kobe, you could see like, the aura of the Mamba mentality. Like you can see in their Redeem documentary, like how much it intersects right at a very important part of their time. Like 2007, when he joined the team, he was still like wanting to be traded from the Lakers because they didn't give him a second guy. He was still hunting for that first championship without Shaq to prove everyone wrong. Then 2008, he just lost with Powell in the Celtics. And then, the Olympics start literally 5 days later. And then you hear everyone talking about how he's already training. And I was like, wow, like, because we didn't live and always watch, but we have little bits and pieces because we were young, but watching it at that time. But when you see Mike Tyson, you don't know how all these pieces put together. Same with like Muhammad Ali. We don't know like all the fights kind of blend together. There's young, there's old, but you don't know all the struggles where he was out of the game, coming back, what Joe Frazier meant at that time, what Sonny Liston meant as the young Cassius Clay, and then what Joe Frazier, then what George Foreman really meant, what like Norton meant, like. They were the killers, and Muhammad Ali's this older guy who's coming to kill them. And no one gave him a shot.
Yeah.
So we look at it as like Muhammad Ali should win.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And see, that's the stuff that I didn't even know about that stuff. That's pretty insane, right? And there's a saying, like, especially in fighting, they always say, like we always say it too, it's you're only as good as your last fight. And it's the only thing people remember. And it sucks because the narrative is so important to see what happens, right? And even I was talking to somebody else who just recently became a UFC fan, and the way this person would talk about John Jones,
right?
And they have all these negative things to say about him. It's like, I don't think you actually understand who John Jones is, right? Because they didn't see this whole 9 years or so, close to a decade of just John Jones and DC dominating a whole division where nobody could touch them.
I mean, it even happens with Anderson and George.
Yeah.
People forget them. Those are the two, I think, GOATs that changed the game. And then John Jones and Jose Aldo right after that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they were like, all in that same time. They completely changed the game. I always joke, like, Jose Aldo is Nova União is a jiu-jitsu school.
Yeah.
That's insane.
They have
really?
a great MMA program, but it's like known for their jiu-jitsu.
because their sparring seems very light. Knock each other out.
I go, he's a black belt forever. Like, since he started MMA, but we've never seen his jiu-jitsu because he's so good at takedown defense and striking.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the thing about fighting, man. Like being able to watch like this whole sport evolve from where it started, there has been these moments where I felt like, when I started watching UFC, when it was in the single digits, it was a certain way, and then there was like a shift, and there's always this gigantic shift that changes the sport forever, and it never goes back.
The 100 was a big one. Was that when Anderson fought Forrest Griffin?
I think so. That was the GSP fight, right? With Thiago Alves was UFC.
Yeah, that was
100.
I don't know if Anderson fought Forrest on that one. I don't know.
No, I
Could
forget.
be, though.
It was around that time, right? When it
yeah.
switched from single digits.
That was a
double
crazy
digits
fight, right?
to,
That's
like,
when everyone looked
triples.
at Anderson like, holy
Matrix.
shit,
Who is this
the fuck is this dude?
Right,
He
right.
just beat the crap out of Forrest Griffin.
Right,
guy
going
heavier.
up in weight.
Yeah.
And that's what people forget about Anderson's legacy is like, he has that that win record in the UFC, but he also has like, he's tied, I think, now for most defenses of his career for championships.
Wow.
But you forget Travis Lutter missed weight.
Oh, that's right.
He went up and fought, what's his name? James
The Sandman.
Sandman, right? Knocked him
yeah,
out.
cracked him.
Right.
Yeah.
Changed the game. Then beat Stephen Bonner, beat Forrest Griffin, and all of those are not title defenses,
205.
right? But they're arguably former champions or
They were
contenders.
big fights.
That would be a championship fight if they were able to make one middleweight. So, like, I think you should add 4 to his record.
Yeah, man. He's probably. I mean, I think for me, he's my favorite fighter of all time, and it's going to be hard to top him. Like even with some.
Izzy came close.
Yeah.
And Pereira has his aspects too, right? Like they're both like, I look at it as like the yin and the yang to Anderson. And when I see Pereira and Izzy, and they both came through his influence.
I had no idea Pereira cornered Anderson Silva for a fight.
Well, that was actually
Which
that's
fight?
when I first met Alex Pereira was in
Pull it
that
up.
camp for
Yeah, what's-
Anderson
what's-
Silva
what's your relationship
versus
with-
Israel Adesanya.
Oh.
And so, Black House was, is where I started my whole pro coaching career. And, I'll say it now because it came out as best as it's like a movie, right? How Alex Pereira came in Madison Square Garden 2 years ago, made his debut, knocked out the guy, right?
Yeah.
Last year, Madison Square Garden got the middleweight belt
Crazy.
against Izzy. This year,
MSG.
Madison Square Garden, light heavyweight belt.
Who does that?
2 years.
2 years.
Like,
2
who's saying?
years to become double champ. But that was a plan that, George Ramirez and Ed Suarez from Black House set out from 5 years ago.
Wow.
5 years ago, they set out this plan when they started
That's
managing
insane.
Alex to like, how do we position him so that he would be able to be successful in the UFC?
They did it. they fucking
Right? And,
knocked
and
it out
part
the
of it,
park.
like things that you don't remember is like he was in Glory.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out of Glory to go into MMA, right? But in that time, Izzy was growing in notoriety.
in China.
And like, look, yeah. But like, Alex didn't have to do anything. You're the
Yeah.
one who beat him twice, and you knocked him out. The only person to knock him out. So just let Izzy continue to grow, because when you come into UFC, like
The narrative
right
is there.
there, the narrative's there.
It was set up.
So, I was in the corner for Anderson for that fight when Anderson fought Israel Adesanya, and the day of the fight, they came up to me and they're like, "Can Alex take your spot?" I was like, "Why?" I was like, and they kind of alluded to the fact that they're building for.
Wow.
And look at that.
Career.
They
Like,
were-
this is
they-
3 years before. This is 2018
That's
in
insane.
Melbourne, and I was like, if it's for someone else's career to tell this story, I was like, I don't need to be in the corner. Anderson knows what we talked about. Like, I always tell people, Anderson really allowed me to grow to be like a very mature coach quickly, because who do you think told him to do any of the amazing things he did? As coaches, we have to prepare him, but when he's in there,
It's him.
It's him. Like, the training's done. We're just there to watch certain things, but it's him. So I was like, I don't need to be there. He knows what we talked about. But if this set up Alex to be in a position, like, and that was just a prospect, I'll put him in there because I care about all our athletes making as much money, getting as much notoriety. Like, they only have a short period of time. So as a coach, I want to expand everyone's career. So I stepped out and Alex went in.
Wow, that's
what
amazing.
a great fucking story.
So
right?
that would have been
That's
crazy.
fucking insane.
That would have been crazy if he was like, nah.
and then Alex never got the belt.
Yeah.
He never
That
fights
Korean-Brazilian
MMA.
alliance would be over forever.
There's a whole documentary on you, the man who ruined Alex
man
Pereira's
who ruined
career.
But you know what? I love Alex in one of the craziest things. Like, look, he stared down Israel
Yeah.
from Anderson's corner. He stared down what's his name? Jiri.
Yeah.
From Lovers,
Gary.
from
That was the
Lovers
best.
corner. And he also stared down Jamahal Hill.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
So
if he
crazy.
gets Jamahal Hill, that's like one of the most epic, like, he's staring down from, like, I'm going to avenge my master.
Dude, don't let Alex in the
How
corner.
samurai is that?
Yeah, that's
Bro,
so
fighters should
crazy.
come out and cover their eyes with a blindfold and never look at him in the eye.
If I could ask you this, since you've held pads for Alex, what is the quality about Alex that makes him so dangerous and different?
So, I mean, everyone knows he has power.
Yeah.
Like, now, after all these years, like, he's definitely the hardest hitter that I've ever held for. Like, Anderson has amazing timing, and that's not to take away from Pereira, but, like, with Anderson, I always think about timing and, like, setting up the stage and traps. With Alex, he sets up traps for sure, and he has great timing, but his power is just unbelievable. But I think the thing that I didn't realize, because I first saw Alex, in that tournament for Glory in Los Angeles, like 10 years ago, maybe more. Like, Joe Schilling, that's the one where Joe Schilling knocked out Simon Marcus.
Yes.
Fought Artem Levin.
Which was fucking
Artem
crazy, by
Levin
the way.
fought Alex in the first round.
Crazy.
Oh, that's wild for a
And-
first round fight.
When I watched him, like, I remember this when we called him in to work with Anderson for the Adesanya fight. I was like, he's a brute. Like, he has a lot of power, but he doesn't really have too much like fight IQ,
finesse.
like, finesse. But you have to remember, like, his start of the game was late. He was working. He was an alcoholic, and then he turned it all around really late in his career. So when you see him fight like Israel Adesanya in those early Glory fights, like, he's been only doing it like 5 years, 4
So
years.
crazy.
Oh my
Right?
God.
So Israel Adesanya has already been doing it for like 10, so many more fights. So that's why you see, like, everyone talking about him getting beat up before. I was like, yeah, but he was so young in his career. He didn't know. But when I met him in 2018, like, he could mimic everyone. Like, he could mimic Joe Schilling, Artem Levin, like Simon Marcus, all guys that I used to spar with Joe Schilling, like, at the end of my amateur career. So I watched those guys. I imitated those guys, like those styles. So I knew what he was talking about. So, wow, he could imitate them. Like, that's the highest level skill. You can talk about it, but if you can imitate it, like, you understand how to play that game. And so I saw how much he knew, like, how much he understood the fight game.
When you train somebody like him, right, or just any fighter in general, he's, because you're a Muay Thai coach, right? His hands are very low. Do you
Scream at him.
do you make adjustments to that, or do you accept that this is who he is, and then you kind of develop it after that? What is, because I know there's a conversation with
Right.
coaches where they go, do I make this person work my system, or do I see them and understand what their strengths are and then adjust for them after?
Right.
What is the tactic?
It's like, well, it also depends on what your role is as a coach, right? There's different times. Like, if you're developing them, like, okay, you have to put a lot more emphasis of driving them to one side or the other. If you're helping them just stay in shape, keep their skills, like, tweak little things, have conversations, that's off-season stuff, right? Like it's like any other sport. In-season and off-season are very different things of what you do. In-season, you can't really build. You make little tweaks. Off-season, like, you make bigger tweaks. And then you also will kind of work on some things that develop a bigger foundation. So with him, my role was always working with him and just, like, making sure he stays sharp when he's visiting here in Los Angeles. During the camp, man, that Adesanya camp, that was the hardest. I held 5 5-minute rounds for Anderson,
Christ.
for Alex Pereira, and then Cosmo Alexandre.
Oh.
And then everyone else was training partner was like, I really don't have anything left. 25 minutes. I was like, I went into a war with 3 lions. Yeah.
But how do you deal with it?
Hence, I developed this density.
I feel like if you lost weight, you just get killed. Like you need some of like the best pad holders have to be bigger because you're just absorbing hits. All, like trainer Gay.
Bro, he's thick.
He's thick, and I can imagine if he lost weight, I think he would just get
concussed.
Yeah. I think there's a time like I'm getting near there too because I'm getting to be like I just turned 37, so I'm like okay, like I need to start slimming down. I need to start putting training back for myself for longevity, right? Because you don't want to have also the bad careers or bad health conditions that like trainers do get. Like subconcussive blows is a lot. You know, your body takes a lot. You don't take care of yourself. You get diabetes. Like I've heard this from different coaches over the years. So it's like, okay, I'm going to maximize it. It's like being in a pro sport. Like you're redlining the whole time, and then how do you take it back to going back to what martial arts is for in the first place, which is like the betterment of yourself.
Do you feel that you, as somebody who is a trainer, have to reflect that lifestyle as well if you want to stay in this game? Because, you know, it's kind of like with, you know, I call it like Korean youth pastor syndrome, where, you know, you start with a skinny youth pastor, and then 5 years along the line, they're like the fattest person you ever seen in your life, you know, because all like the Samoanims give them food all the time.
Right. Potlucks.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, because do you feel like that's an important aspect of being a coach too?
I think it can be, right? Like you want to be a coach that can do it, like not just say it. I think for the first 7 years, 8 years, you know, I was still coaching a lot of like strength and conditioning, physical therapy. So I was still able to move very well, even though being bigger. So I use that as a crutch. I use it like pro athlete from NFL or from Major League Baseball or NBA. I was like, bro, you can't do a single leg squat. Let me show you. Or you can't do a Turkish get up. Make it look easy. So that they can't argue back.
Yeah.
But, you know, as you get older, you know, you don't want to continue using that as a crutch. You want to be able to set like a standard. So I think you could do it both ways. But for me, it's much more about longevity for my career.
Yeah.
Like I worked so hard to get here. Now the question is not to get here. It's about how to stay here. And then you got to be healthy. But to get here, like I redlined it my own way as a coach. You redlined it as an athlete for the first 15 to 25. Then you redline it to become a coach in multiple like fields to this point. But now it's like, okay, I'm approaching 40. How am I going to be that for like 60 to 80?
Yeah.
I want to stay healthy and work until I die, like a
for sure.
Like a good Korean student.
I mean, we are going to start getting into like the fights and then into the picks, but I just added for my curiosity.
But to your question about for Alex,
Yeah.
right? You know, he's probably, like after Anderson, one of the most interesting puzzles to figure out. And that's why I wanted to be in those rooms is like, you have to see it. You have to feel it. So seeing Anderson, you're like, oh, that's why he's different. His timing, his understanding. He would go spar at Black House for an hour and a half, 2 hours, not take a break. He was teaching other people during the break. And you know, you have these younger fighters who are like, resting, I need a round off. I was like, Anderson's training with like this graying beard.
Beating everybody up.
The whole time. But, you know, that's what made him who he is. Same with Alex.
Kobe mentality.
Alex is the same thing. Yeah, the Kobe mentality for sure, right? And with Alex was the hardest style to figure out.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm curious
The hardest.
about, right?
Like I
so
like,
unorthodox. Like nobody fights like him.
Like I remember, like during that time he was in Glory, like one of my good friends, Joe Valtellini, who used to be the Glory champ, and then now he's one of the commentators, right? Whenever we met, we would catch up, we'd talk about, you know, kickboxing, and then we'd be like, what do you see in Alex? And he'd be like, what do you see? Like, it's so weird. Yeah. You know, because there's like karate aspects, there's the boxing aspects. The way he drops his hands, you have to understand, like, you have, like, what I took from it was, like, I have to show and put those looks. Like, that's why I started working with paddles, you know, quite a bit, was Anderson has longer arms than me, right? And so it'd be hard to reach him sometimes. But I know there's elements where he can get hit. So I started using paddles. It like naturally extends the length of your punch. Same thing with Alex. I would use paddles and sometimes sticks, just to show like, oh, that would hit you. Your hand was down. But there's a portion of the game that he uses the hands down to bait the guys in.
Yes, and that's the frightening
And he's
part.
the best at countering. Like every time, like he's changed how I look at things, like how I sit back here versus how I sit going forward, and how I can switch to go the other way very fast.
Because I was looking at his pad work with his hands, and his hands are always down. Within his pad work, there's always a slip and a counter with the offense.
Always.
So I'm just like, and it's so fast. Like I don't, and when you play this game, you have to be really good at this game.
Right.
And I just don't see other people doing that like him.
And he pulls it off in fights.
Yeah, which is
That's
so
how he
weird.
KOs everybody.
Because everything in theory might be great, but then you see him do what you're seeing on the screen in these fights, and it just blows my mind.
I remember one thing, like because during that time after I met him in for the Adesanya camp, I watched his story every day, and then I watched also Glover's story when he started working with him. I was like, I want to see if it's replicatable. That's what I always look at. Is like same with like Liam Harrison and Andy Howson. I was like, it's an amazing style, but I don't know if it's replicatable. And then they started training young fighters, like MMA fighter, kickboxing fighter, and I was like, they move like him. So it's like obviously you can train it then.
Yeah.
So I started watching their training methods more. So same thing with Alex. Like when he started working with Glover, you can start seeing like, oh, these are the drills he always works. One thing I would say about Alex, when he was traveling a ton, he always would post back then a picture of him in the elevator with his gloves. It didn't matter where he was going. He's always shadow boxing. So he's always ripping those hooks and like knowing how to stop, miss, like generating that torque, that fascia. So that's why he is like how he is.
That's amazing. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
What is this bullshit? I remember when I started following him and he would post all this stuff. I'm like, I never want to hold a pad for him ever. Like
the body shots are the worst.
Definitely if you pull that
The whole head rattles.
Yeah.
Yeah. You pull
And
that
also
glove
the
up,
leg
blood in
shield,
there.
like there's a certain moment like I was like, I'm not gonna wear
Oh,
that.
dude, his calf kick. We didn't even talk about that. Like just that alone.
Oh, yeah.
Like what he did to like you.
Yeah, but like the calf kick, the low kick, his knees, how he throws that knee to the thigh is so gangster.
Oh.
So I would hold for like maybe 3 rounds with those, and I'd be like, okay, we're gonna work on boxing. We're gonna work something else. You had your fun.
Hit the back
My
for that.
thigh can't take it anymore.
Yeah, please.
Jason, in your career thus far, what would you say is probably the most like memorable or like proud even or surreal moment in like UFC or any of the smaller fight leagues or anything? What's like stands out to you?
I mean, there's so many because, I got to help so many people get into the UFC. So every time you see their first UFC fight, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah.
So that's like, yeah, there's a ton of those. And then, every fight is special, right? Because like, that's why like you'll see me sometimes take videos, like even when the camera's on, right? Like when they're getting greased up, like I take videos of every fighter at the same points. Like, of course, in the back room, but it's like when they're about to be walked out. And I always take this pan shot where it's like, it's them from the profile, and I show the crowd in the cage, and I go back to them. Because, like, you can't replicate that moment in their mind, what they're thinking about.
That's so true.
Then the next one is when we walk out, and then, we put down our buckets, they take off, their workout gear, they give the hugs to all the coaches, and then I film when they get greased up from the back, and to show like the crowd and the feel. Then they go in. Then the last one is like in the crowd. When we're in the cage side, I always do it when the opponent is being like announced, because I know the camera's on that side. So I always film them walking, pacing, for their memories, right? And so that they have that memory there, and then I put my phone away, and then it's our time to be announced. Yeah.
Ooh, dude, the amount of walkouts you've been to, I'm like, damn, I'll never get.
Yeah, it's down to
that.
science now. All your moments.
Yeah, everyone's like, who's that Asian influencer?
Oh, let me tell you, my girlfriend is in the film industry, right? And she hates it. Every time she sees it, she takes a picture, puts it on the story, like, Jason taking another like video.
Yeah.
Stay focused on the job.
Yeah.
Like, it's always one moment. I know what that moment is.
Yeah.
Ladies always bringing us down.
I know.
We're just trying to be happy and enjoy the moment.
Look at my boyfriend having fun and enjoying his life. Let me make sure he doesn't have that moment. Hey, stop having fun. I'm married, so I could say this. Fucking shit on me all the time. I love you.
I was gonna say, we've been watching a lot of like OneFC lately. We've been getting really into the Muay Thai,
Right.
and to the kickboxing over at OneFC. And are there any fighters that kind of stand out to you right now that are kind of like, oh, these are the guys?
I mean, there's so many.
Who do you
Tawan
say?
Chai.
Oh, so good.
Super Bond, let's go, baby.
Super Bond. I know they're at the end of their career, but Georgia Petrosian and
man.
Nikki Holskin.
Yeah,
Nikki Holskin.
Oh,
so
like-
clean.
Definitely one of my biggest things I studied. I studied him a ton because he's the perfect blend of Muay Thai and kickboxing. So you don't see that often, right? You see some from the Japanese fighters now, but there's a different style. And Nikki is the one that taught me how to really coach and throw like a body hook.
Oh, I love
I
it.
remember he one time he told me, he was like, if you throw the cross to set up the body hook, you're teaching yourself wrong. Like, you're gonna always lean, you're gonna cheat it. It's always off the uppercut, right uppercut, body hook, because you're in the same range. And then once you get good at that, when you throw it across, you'll know how much you need to move in to throw the body hook.
He literally did that at OneFC. He slipped through the uppercut and the body hook was there.
That's a shot.
No, so I remember he
That's
told
a
me
shot.
that one time backstage, and I was like, "Holy shit!" It's one of those moments that like it clicked.
That's so cool, man.
And that's what I really love about coaching. Of course, it's fun, the glamour, but it really goes back to like me as a 5-year-old. I wanted to know how this shit works in real life.
See,
So that's why I'm in it. It's like I want to know, problem solve this puzzle.
And that's like super important because I remember when I was first training, you go to certain spots and I think in any type of martial art, once it becomes popular, specifically happened in Taekwondo.
Right.
It's just it became so watered down.
Right.
And there's a lot of fake coaches. And so you could just look up their name. If you ask them, it's like, have you fought before? They go, no. It's like, then where's this experience coming from?
Right.
Or who have you worked with at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
And I think like fighters do have that where because they've been in the fire, there's things that they've learned and seen that they could adjust and adapt to and then teach the next generation.
Right.
Like how would Nikki Holskin have known that without having to do this?
Right.
Because then after that, at that point, you're just regurgitating what you heard from somebody else without the actual application.
Right.
And that's fascinating.
Well, and I think it's also like knowing how to listen to the right people. Like, I mean, I even had this moment that happened like 2 weeks ago where, a lot of what we teach is like footwork. You see that from a lot of the fighters that I've trained in the past. Like, it's based on footwork. And like, I was very lucky to work with the coach of Tiffany Van Soest. So like that was a big influence. And then working with Anderson, seeing their boxing coaches, they do the same thing, but a little bit different. And it's like, it's all really around that Soviet style, right? You just see like, oh, Poland. Oh, that's from Ukraine. Oh, that's from Cuba. Like, it's all from the Soviet system. So like I started seeing different versions of the same thing. It's like, oh, what are the principles that guide them together? So a lot of things we work, like, especially to set up the calf kick, is to go to the right? This direction that most people don't want to go to. So if you jab, you go on that side and then you throw the calf kick. We sector out that way. And I was taking this, I started doing Filipino martial arts like 4 years ago because Anderson asked me to.
Which
to
one?
kind of
like the Balintawak or the Eskrima?
Balintawak. Like I train over at the Inosano Academy.
So
That's
cool.
cool.
The
Legendary.
legend
Every
of all
person
legends,
goes
right?
there, yeah.
Like we wouldn't be here in MMA without his influence and Bruce Lee's influence, even.
Yeah,
So,
Philippines got some shit, David. It's not just Koreans, man.
You guys just throw yo-yos at each other.
Hey, we take breaks at Olympia too.
You guys had the stick,
Oh, I
the
said
stick
that.
thing. The stick thing is fucking scary as
So
shit.
that's what we're
So
saying.
that's what
quite a
Eskrima?
lot,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my God.
So flowy, dude.
Yeah.
And
I'm just like this the whole time.
It's amazing. It's amazing, but it's a journey for sure. But we were taking. He's teaching. Guru Daniel Sano's teaching this Southeast martial arts course, and so part of it's like from Krabi Kabong, some of it's from Filipino martial arts
Silat.
and Silat, and then Muay Baran. And so he was showing some things from Muay Baran, and I was like, "This is exactly how we sector out. Like this is our newest technology."
They've been doing it.
And I was like, "When did you learn this?" He was like, 1970.
No. It was in 1977.
No, you have to know. Gordon Santo is from Stockton, so his English is
1977. Hey,
legit.
It's interesting.
But like nothing's new under the sun, right? Like our new technology is just refining the technology that was there and people forgot.
I think
beautiful.
also too, martial arts back in the day, everybody was such a stickler for their martial art.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the introduction of Bruce Lee came in. He goes, everything can be used.
Right.
That original MMA guy is Bruce Lee. It's like, take everything that's weak, throw it out, and take everything that's strong and put it here.
Right.
And then before that, everybody. Taekwondo is the way. Karate is the way.
Fu.
Kung Fu is the way. And nobody wanted to take a little bit of what everybody else learned.
Right.
So maybe these things have been around for, like you said, for a while. It's just nobody was willing to go out and find it.
Right.
But
I think there's two ways that people go about it. Not to take it too far away from what we're actually talking about.
Yeah, no,
this is great.
But it's like, when people hear take out what's useless and keep what's useful, I think it's so easy to just throw out what you don't feel comfortable with at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
But maybe you haven't done it enough to actually see if it works for you. So I always tell people, like, there's two ways you can become an MMA fighter. You can do train all martial arts at once, right? You see those guys. But my bias is always to being a specialist first, then become a specialist second, specialist third, and then figure it out.
Oh, I love that.
Like, you see Valentina, you see Joanna Jedrzejczyk, Anderson. Like, they were really good at this and they were good at that. Israel Adesanya and Pereira are just like the latest examples. Like, they're both from Glory. So,
I think when I saw Anderson Silva start doing like Wing Chun guard stuff and defense, I was
Traps
what
and stuff.
the hell is
Like a
going on
dummy.
here? And everybody said Wing Chun wasn't applicable, and then you see him back against the cage doing this stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
and
here?
also I think it's like you have to know what it's for. Like, maybe it's not applicable as like the pure martial art, but it's really good for hand speed. Like, we teach it for like NFL athletes all the time, Wing Chun and like Hubud from Filipino martial arts.
Really?
And then like for jiu-jitsu, it's huge. Wrestling is huge. Like, how to just manipulate hands, just pass it over.
Oh.
So like, maybe it's not like your main martial art, but it can be a
There's
specialty.
pieces of it. Oh,
That's why I love this, like, coaching, is because you have to prove that your thoughts work.
yeah.
In martial arts before, it's like people would just say like, "Oh, this works. Don't question me." But for me, I like it because like I can fail. So that pushes me to like really figure out a good strategy, really develop the techniques, and then let's see the experiment
So
work.
maybe we shouldn't judge Joshua Fabia. Maybe we should just let him try his knife thing.
We got to do it a little bit more.
Yeah,
Not enough volume.
Let's all hang upside down and sock me in the head. For a while.
That's why I'm going to be so interested to see Tony.
Okay. We had
what's your
a
take on that?
debate.
What you think?
What's your take on David Goggins helping Tony? Is this?
This is not a dig on either one.
Yeah, it is. Go ahead, Jason.
I just go. Is Tony Ferguson's problem toughness or cardio?
No, it's not.
No, that's not his problem.
But he's never done lunges across the golf course.
Hey, what?
That's my
This is
point.
what I want you to
I
do.
will tell you this. I believe you that he would have.
Yeah.
He has some of the craziest troubles.
Yeah.
At the master
training
the combo-
stories, and I haven't heard all of them. Like, I only heard a few.
Have you ever seen him suplex like a box, like a
jump box?
Tony, I don't think there's a single thing that you could tell me that would surprise me.
Exactly.
Like, that sounds like it.
We've seen it all.
Listen,
I
I'm
believe
pretty sure that if you asked him if he sucked a bear's dick in the forest, he'd be like, last week.
Yeah, I tried it once.
It was for movement.
Amateur career.
He's insane, dude.
Yeah, when you see like trainers, like, I don't know, like social media trainers or like bad pad holders, or like, do you get just like cringe, just like want to say shit? You're like, that is not good for your
I
athlete.
mean, it's hard because,
Say some names.
like, with striking, right? Striking is
Call
hard
him out.
because, like, it's very easy. Like, it's harder than jiu-jitsu to learn. Like, it's hard to learn jiu-jitsu, right? But the pad holding is like really simple to learn the basics, at least to make it look good.
Yeah.
Right? And I can miss their head and make them feel amazing.
Ones where it's like,
right?
duck.
You can hold this way. I just look at it, it's like, it goes back to boxing. Boxing, they always talk about this, like, you hear this from like the old, like, OGs, is like, they're pad holders and they're coaches. And real coaches are teachers. They're not there to just hold mitts. Like, if you look at like Muhammad Ali era, there was no pad holding. Pad holding started in like the 80s.
Oh.
They would just drill, like run, skip rope, hit the bag, drill, spar.
Interesting.
Very like Sean Strickland lifestyle. Right? So like pad holding is a new technology which is very helpful, but it's also not the most important all the time.
Yeah, Nick, stop charging your clients $100 an hour.
No, dude, I have to.
I have a mortgage to pay.
I got a mortgage. Shut up, dude. Shut up.
Speaking of, let's get into some news. Speaking of Sean Strickland, Nick, do you want to kind of lay this out and then we can get Jason's take on this?
I haven't even seen this video yet.
Well, basically,
What
yeah.
the
Sean Strickland basically holds a man at gunpoint in Las Vegas because it's the Sean Strickland way, baby.
Right.
Is he holding that gun sideways?
Yeah.
Dude, 209.
Okay, I would not expect anything less.
So a guy, for the audience, a guy comes stumbling drunk. Out of all the houses the guy can stumble drunk in, confronts the guy, and then kicks him, puts his leg on him, and holds him at gunpoint. And says, "Get the fuck off my property."
Well, how's he gonna get the fuck off your property if you have your foot on him?
But that being said, there was some others. Here's what Sean had said.
It was my uncle.
He said he was being chased by security. The story was that he hit his sister, took off, shredded his tire, and his vehicle got disabled and went on foot. He said none of that happened. Security waited for cops for 2 hours, then let him go. Yeah, so apparently the guy, Sean trying to save the day.
Right. He hit his sister. You
Yeah.
know, so.
And it's interesting because, like, this reminds me of, like, John Jones situation, too, right? Someone tried to rob
worst.
John Jones. Like, stop robbing MMA fighters that love guns houses.
And Sean over there. You know what's so funny about Sean? Sean literally has the same outfit every day. White t-shirt, blue jeans.
Yep.
He's a cartoon. He's Doug the cartoon. Just the angry version of it. Dude, what kind of shit luck is that? Out of all the homes it's just like that house. Why that house?
That guy, seriously.
Oh my God, that is frightening as shit.
I think anytime the ring alert pops up on his phone, he's just waiting, bro.
yeah, I don't even
just
think he
can't
sleeps in
wait.
his bed. He sleeps in front of a door like a
Dude,
dog.
if a raccoon came out, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing in my house? Not my garbage. Yeah. Have you met Sean before? Or trained with him?
Yeah, he came to Black House quite a bit. Great guy. Really nice guy.
Bring the mic a little closer.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, it might be ours.
Yeah, they think he's floating.
Yeah, it floats.
But yeah, so he came to Black House a couple times.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Great guy.
That's what I feel
Really
like everyone
stand-up guy.
says. They just love him in the gym.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen clips of him talk to other fighters as he's working with them. Very kind. It's just when he's in fight mode, it's just different. But when he's coaching mode.
I think sometimes he pulls up the intensity, and some people can take that the wrong way. But I think like we all do that, right? So it's just having a conversation. And I think that's one of the hardest things for, like fighting athletes is actually the soft skills. Like have a conversation. They're so good at hitting people, but it's like, bro, like you're going a little hard.
Yeah.
That's the harder conversation.
Like, right, that's so hard for them, but
Yeah. Not me.
we all grow.
Excuse me.
That calf kick changed it, huh?
Yeah. Once I got kicked in the calf, I was like,
No
hey,
more calf kicks.
I did this. I went timeout. There's no such thing as timeouts. I was like, hey, timeout.
I want to get into Sean. I want to get into your thoughts with the Sean and Adesanya fight. Like, what do you think, from your analysis, made the big difference? Why Izzy could not pull off anything off Sean?
I think there's a huge weight. I mean, you can see it with both Alex and Sean, and Alex and Adesanya, and those are two guys I prepared for quite a lot, like for multiple years, right? And like, I think they're both stand-up guys. They're both very diligent. They train hard. They listen to their coaches. They're teachable, but I think like you hear this from champions all the time. Like the weight of being a champion's a lot. You have to do more media. You have to sell more tickets, right? You're always doing media tours, and like everyone's coming to beat you. So I think you could see on both of them like the weight, and you could hear like emotionally like I thought like when I saw the press conference with when Sean Strickland was fighting Pereira. Remember Izzy and Strickland got into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, you guys aren't fighting each other. Like, you guys need to chill out. And he said some things that, like, it's like he stumbled on his words. He said some things, like, about hentai. And it's like,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
it's like, it's probably not a smart move.
Yeah.
Just act like you don't know that word, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like the weight of like, trying to be cool, being a champion.
Yeah.
It's like you have to act so many different ways. You start losing yourself. So I think I see that, like, the stress of it. also both of them try to fight so often.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
And it's like if you're always training for fights, like it's hard on your body, and then also like
mentally,
you're not always growing. Yeah, it's mentally grueling. So I think there's a part of that. And then of course, like Sean Strickland also went to go train with Alex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was
So I think
cool.
he taught him some
Which is
good
so
things with, like,
gangster.
check kicks, be in his face, put pressure with the jab, and that's a way to beat a guy like Izzy.
You know, I kind of mentioned this too, where I think the version of Izzy that I really loved the most was the rematch against Pereira, right?
Yeah.
Because he was just a fighter.
Right.
The media stuff was way in the back. It was just,
Right.
I'm here to get my fucking W back. And that's it. And when I saw this version of him, I immediately changed my mind. Like, because when he started doing his press stuff and he just didn't care, the bullshit wasn't there, I went, Izzy's going to win. And it was just different. And then you see him with Sean Strickland. I'm like, where's that same guy that was at the Alex Pereira
there.
comp? It wasn't there. He was just like, just kind of brushing everything off. And I'm like, this is not the Izzy that I thought I was going to see. I thought we were going to get the same version.
He just killed his biggest monster.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now what? Now what do I do?
I mean, that's. I mean, it's a hard game, right? Like,
Yeah.
how to keep pulling yourself. You just killed the biggest monster, and now you have someone who doesn't look like a monster to you,
Like, do you care as much?
right?
Yeah.
And then everyone's a monster in there.
Yeah.
Everyone can beat you up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then well, exciting news here. You
yeah.
saw that
That's gonna be so
during
crazy.
a podcast with David's favorite podcast, the Milk Boys.
Oh, Milk Boys.
Kevin, you saw in the back during the war room, Kevin Holland potentially fighting Michael Venom Page
Oh my-
or Paige Van Sant. We don't know.
Or patience. Either or, I'm down. Either or.
Second one.
Those are good fights.
Man, dude, like Michael Venom Page, I mean, now, how old is he now? 35, 36?
36.
So this is like towards the latter end
Yeah.
of his career. While he was in Bellator, they did a very good job of giving him people that, in my personal opinion, weren't on his level. And then he decided to fight a Lima. You know what I mean? And then
said, "Nah."
it was a little, and that was the thing that people kind of were talking about, maybe talking a little shit that he hadn't fought the competition level that he should be fighting. And then when he ran to Douglas Lima, you saw something different, right? So I kind of wish that this transition would have happened earlier in his career.
right.
And because also just for his growth too, I think he would have just exponentially gotten better.
I mean, you can say that for a lot of people who came over, like even Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
He was there 3 years earlier. I think it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different story for him.
Like, he's still amazing, but we missed out on something.
Wow, Kevin Holland and Michael Venom Page. And he's like one of those people that I've seen fight where, if you're going to stand with him, might not be the best idea.
Yeah.
Especially with somebody like you saw it with Wonderboy Thompson. This might be Kevin Holland's redemption
Right.
for the Thompson fight.
Yeah.
So let's not.
But
just,
what I'm going to say is that press conference for Dricus Duplessis and
Sean
Sean Strickland is going to be amazing.
oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh wow. It's just I don't know, man. Like MVP. I just wish I could have seen it. Did you guys actually think that he lost the BKFC fight? Did you guys watch that?
Against
Mike Perry?
Mike Perry?
I thought before they decided to do that last round where I thought MVP had it in the
I thought
bag.
you
Oh,
did too.
but Mike Perry is not the one you should fight in BKFC.
No.
He's built for it.
He's a dog.
Like,
Yeah.
every single person they put in front of him, I was like, that's probably not the best fight. Maybe in MMA, maybe in kickboxing, but not in BKFC.
Yeah. I was just a little shocked that they actually did the that last decider round where they kind of this last round wins it all.
Tiebreaker.
Right.
I thought that MVP actually just had it in the bag.
Yeah.
And I think most people did too. So when they went to the tiebreaker, I'm like, MVP is not gonna get this one. Like if it's that boy Mike Perry, he has to empty out the gas tank, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And of course that's what happened, you know?
So let's do some early fun picks for this. Michael Venom Page or Kevin Holland Nick. Who do you have and who gets it done? This is
Oh,
exciting.
that's hard. I think, we saw Steven Wonderboy Thompson do really well against Kevin Holland with that same, similar style, right? But
You
man,
gotta
I think
remember-
my gut says Kevin Holland, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Michael Venom Page is, like you said, just a little older. I don't know how that's gonna work out for him.
Look, Nick hates karate point sparring.
Hey, Thompson
That's
was
not true.
dang near 40 though.
You have Kevin Holland, who's like the same physicality. Too.
Yeah,
Same length.
he's a young lad. And if what if he starts doing some grappling? Who
Yeah.
knows how that changes?
Because he's not making that verbal agreement with MVP that's gonna keep it standing, right?
Also,
He might.
Holland broke his hand in the first round.
Oh
That's
yeah,
on his
that's right.
head.
That's
Right, so that
right.
changed
That's
it a lot.
right. I forgot about that.
David, who you got for this one?
I'm always gonna have to go with. Listen, I'm not gonna go for a Bellator person to come in and take out a UFC fighter.
So you gotta go.
I got my UFC loyalty. So also, I love
Dana
Kevin Holland.
sponsor this show?
Yeah. He's also a Dana White apologist. So.
Yeah, I'm a very big Dana White apologist. But like with Kevin Holland too, that was a big factor. He broke his hand.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And also he had that man's agreement of just keeping it standing. I think that Kevin Holland is not going to do that. I think he's going to mix it up a little bit. But I also think that Michael Venom Page is just going to get touched by him really hard. Kevin Holland hits hard. When he cocks that fucking right hand like a piston and it touches somebody, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah.
But then again, MVP moves so well. I don't fucking know. This is so hard for me.
Anytime Michael Venom Page or Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is fighting, like with that style, it's always so hard for me to pick.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
know.
Because you don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah,
How
and
aggressive they're
you
gonna
don't
be.
know how the other guy is going to react to him
Right.
because it is weird when you see a guy who could move that quickly in and out and has such a wide like a range of attacks. Like it is like, you don't know how they react.
It's like watching Raymond Daniels fight guys in Glory. Even
Yeah,
they're just like, what are you doing? Fight normal.
and you don't even know what they hit you with. You're like, what the fuck was
I
that?
would think that Kevin Holland would be smart to look at that Douglas Lima fight.
Yeah,
and
low
look at
kicks
that.
are the bane for all those karate fighters.
Yeah.
And
So-
Kevin Holland, how tall is that guy? He's like what,
6'3",
6'3"?
Yeah.
I always root for Kevin. I like Kevin's style.
Yeah.
When he knocked out Jacare, man.
Oh, it's so insane.
We're talking about power.
Yeah.
Like on your back, and you're like, boom.
Perfect spot.
Knocked him out, pulled him back onto his back. But I think it's whoever doesn't get drawn into trying to make it a brawl for their ego. Whoever can keep it more technical is definitely going to be the one. That's hard because both of them.
Both are, yeah. It's just,
So you're really betting on their personality, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you coach a fighter that's fighting someone like an MVP, very point sparring type of karate, like talking a lot of shit? Like, what would you just tell them? The basic.
Don't let him get started. Like you have to dictate the pace, but you can't chase him. So you have to it's like Sean Strickland, like keep staying in their face,
Yeah.
working their jab, and then take away their weapons. And then once they start feeling desperate, that's what you always see with those technical fighters, like especially karate fighters. Like once they get desperate, like they're gonna start doing unorthodox stuff, like spinning moves. They're gonna reach, and then that's when you start getting their number. And then the last thing is like low kick.
Last thing, break their leg.
Yeah, if they check, then okay, that's good for them. But if they don't, like you have to explore that first.
I actually thought Paul Daly beat MVP.
It was a decision, right?
Yeah, I thought Paul Daly actually won it decisively, but they gave it to MVP. Which
Yeah.
Took him
I mean,
down
it
the
was
whole
close
time, right?
enough.
He wrestled. Paul Daly wrestled him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Paul.
Semtex, come on now. So I was actually shocked about that. So there is a path to victory against him. But then also Paul Daly's high level too.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man,
He's been in the
retired.
game too.
He
for a
retired in the
long
best
time.
way possible. Just flatlined.
Dude, I just still remember that flying knee to Cyborg's skull. I
Oh.
was like, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then he throws the Pokeball after.
Yeah.
that's disrespectful.
That's hard, bro.
I don't
So
even
mean.
I don't think he even knew how hard he hit him.
He broke his orbital, didn't he?
No,
Broke
he
his
broke his
forehead.
skull.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I want just for like the press conference? I want MVP Sean Strickland. I just want him throwing Pokeballs at Sean Strickland.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this fight.
No, Sean would be throwing Pokeballs in Mac.
Oh yeah. Also, we got another fight announcement. Osmot is out, so Anthony Smith steps into fight.
Is that
A
crazy?
Tiger Muay Thai fighter, Khalil Rountree.
And there's more replacement fights too that are for the
man,
co-main.
But wasn't Khalil supposed to fight this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got replaced.
Place. How do you guys like this? Anthony Smith.
That's a rough fight for Anthony.
You know, I would say this.
Yeah.
Anthony has the biggest trouble dealing with calf kicks and low kicks,
Right.
and you're fighting Khalil Rountree.
Ugh.
You saw what he did to what's his face years ago when he switched his style a little bit. He ate that motherfucker's leg up with low kicks. Eric Anders. Ugh, that was so hard to watch. That shit hurt me watching it.
I'm sure Khalil Rountree is one of those guys that nobody wants to fight.
Yeah.
Bro, he's
Right?
huge.
Like he's just such a marauder. Every time he fights in the cage, he's so scary. He's physically menacing, you know?
He's definitely one of the guys that
KOs people.
contributed to my density. Because he's my second fighter at Black House.
Wow.
So RFA into the UFC.
Whoa.
And then he came back when he was fighting Gohan Saki.
Yeah.
Still got very angry about that. I was like,
Did he win that?
He
was like 8
KO'd
weeks
him.
back.
KO'd the
He
shit.
came out 8 weeks out of the fight. I was like, bro, you're coming up from Vegas 8 weeks out of the fight. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
He's like, I want you to make me a better kickboxer. Then Gohan Saki was like, well, that's not happening. But I was like, we can take advantage of what Gohan Saki does.
Yeah.
And his training for that camp was like the most simple stuff, but it's because you know what he's going to make mistakes. Actually, I brought in Melsik Bagdarizian.
Melsik.
Whoa,
he's the man.
To be the
Who's that for
like
the
he's a UFC fighter now, but he's a great Armenian
The gun.
kickboxer.
Yes.
The gun. Everyone here in LA knows him from the kickboxing scene. Fought in K1, and he went into the UFC. But yeah, I asked Melsik because I was working with him at the time, and I said, "Can you show him how that low kick would move, and how like a kickboxer would stay there, so he can land that cross?"
Ugh. You know, the thing, Khalil, when he throws a punch as if you owe him money. Like, it's so ridiculous. I forgot which fight he was, but he utilizes like this grounded kick where the opponent's not technically grounded.
Right.
And he was beating this fool so bad. I'm like, did you guys, and I looked at the press conference, like, do they hate each other? I was like, nope, that's just him.
That's just
Yeah. He doesn't even talk in the press conference. Yeah. That's what I love about Khalil.
It was kind of shocking. I thought that they had beef or something. I was like, no, that's just him just trying to kill somebody. I'm like, okay.
Dude, him and Sean need to fight though. Khalil and Sean.
Oh,
they got beef.
They don't like each other. They're two very different human
people.
beings. I would love to see that fight actually, but he would have to drop weight to go to Strickland's weight class.
All right, we got UFC Fight Night. This card is crazy.
This should be
Dariush
pay-per-view.
versus Nick's favorite
Seriously.
fighter, Armin Tsarukyan 2.0.
Yep.
Nick chose Armin. I chose Dariush.
I'm kind of leaning towards Dariush.
I'm choosing Dariush, dude. All day. Jason, Dr. Jason Park, do you have any
I
affiliations
love
with any of these
Khalil,
fighters?
but
I need to
think
know.
Armin.
Oh, see,
Armin's
here's the
good.
thing. It's like I love. We've been watching. He's so young, but he fights like a fucking veteran, dude.
Yeah.
And it's his tenacity, his skill, his grappling is insane. I
Yeah,
still
his
don't.
first fight was with Islam.
Yeah,
Debut.
in Russia, dude.
on it was like short. It was
Short notice.
Short notice.
It was like 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Everything.
That's how he got in the UFC, I think.
It was in a
probably,
mosque too.
Exactly. That was his debut.
And I still don't think he lost that Gamrot fight.
He got a 5-rounder against Gamrot.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think Beneil has 5 rounds either.
No, it's a question of jiu-jitsu and takedown defense versus takedowns.
Yeah.
Because both are equal. So I think Arman's going to throw like heavy low kicks to take out Benny's legs. But then it's like
His
he's
kicking
gonna
game
be able
was
to stop
crazy.
his takedowns.
You coached against any of these guys?
No, but I know Benny for all the times he's here. Great guy. And then Arman, he used to train at Black House as well. Like early in his career before he went to ATT.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking.
We had a good sparring room. That's why.
Oh my god.
Everyone came in.
I
mean, Beneil spanked the shit out of Gamrot though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Pitch a
that's
shutout.
So I mean, because obviously Beneil too, he's probably at the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
And I'm always gonna go for the older guy because
I'm the same, dude.
I want him to touch gold once. I don't know if it's gonna happen,
Get
obviously.
close to it.
You know, but I would like for him to
I know
compete
it's so
with-
tough because they just won't give it to him.
Yeah. And I think
And he's like the best guy for it, like the nicest dude.
I think he's deserved it multiple times and he got snubbed quite a few times now. So I think I want Beneil to at least go for that belt.
All right, and then we got our
This is crazy.
co-main
Jalen
event.
Turner
Dan Hooker out with a terrible injury, actually.
broke his arm, I think.
Broke his arm. The
Who
same
was
arm
the
he
fight
broke.
originally?
Bobby Green versus Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker. Oh, that's right.
So
Dan
Jalen
Hooker
Turner
broke
comes
his-
in.
So now he gets a taller guy, a younger guy.
Hey, have a taller, younger guy.
That's a bad matchup for Bobby, dude.
Are they only 12 and 13?
Yeah.
They both dropped down that much?
I feel like Jalen should be up higher.
He should be higher, yeah.
No, but I
Jalen
think it's
lost
because
to
he lost
Gamrot.
Dan Hooker, yeah.
That's why.
But it was a close fight, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also lost to Gamrot because he was the last minute replacement.
Oh,
right.
that's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That was arguable too. I thought he beat Gamrot.
Yeah.
The same.
I thought he would get like the split.
Yeah, but it didn't happen that way. But you know, Jalen took the chance. He came in last minute,
Young
He's
guy.
doing it again.
and he's doing it again. I don't know why he keeps doing it, but I like it.
Dude, he's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4" at 155.
155. Get out of here.
How does that work? How does that fucking work?
And he's lean too.
Very
He's not a like a fat dude at all, you know?
You been part of any crazy cuts with your fighters? Like what's some of the, what's like the craziest weight cut you've been part of?
Besides yours, going to 155.
Besides your crazy.
I told you I was gonna. If I ever fought, I was gonna be at 135, dude.
I could not believe 155 over here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, it's such a big drain. Sometimes it feels like you're there for a full 24 hours, like 4 hours rest, 4 hours. It derails you.
And you're training during this time too, right?
Depends on how much you have to cut. because you have to do more skill work versus like, am I trying to get him to sweat? And so like if we have more to cut, then I'm not going to push them to sweat because I want them to hold that into like let it all go at once. You start sweating them too early, and their energy expenditure goes down. Like their body starts to hold.
Oh.
So like you want to get them ready to just let it all go at once. So sometimes we'll do it like very low intensity, but like rehearsing, skill work, and then like at the very last day on weight cut day, that's where we push them.
Oh, so your body will have like a natural resistance to do that because it's trying to keep you
So
alive.
if you're within like, let's say like 8 pounds, like I always say like within 6% of your like fight weight, then like we can do a lot. And that's the best thing because then you can just train and you feel really like good to go for the fight. Everyone has a different approach.
Do you think that fighters should fight closer to the weight, or it's more beneficial for them to lose the weight?
It's both. I think you want to just hit that happy medium where it's you're cutting a lot of weight, but it's not taking away from any of those other things. Just good diet, good water loading, and then a good plan to rehydrate afterward. But if you go 2 pounds beyond that, like that could be the big thing. Those last 2 pounds are always the hardest, right? And so like if you're at 90% at 10 pounds and then you have to just go 11.5, that's going to be fucking 5 hours of grueling. Like it's mentally the worst.
Well, I was always surprised that Pereira can make 185 and, you know, he doesn't miss weight.
But then you look at him at 205 and you go, oh, that's where he should be.
He looks the same.
But
At
you have to
185,
remember-
185, he looked like a little skinnier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 205, he looks lean.
He's thick.
But you just go, he looks healthier.
Because sometimes
I
when
mean, it's a hard cut, but I mean, he's been doing it for how long?
Yeah.
But I get it. Like you're getting older, those cuts are harder.
I think
I still
when
want him to get the middleweight belt.
When I see people jump weight classes, usually, you know, half the time they're a little flabby, you know,
Yeah.
versus, you know, Pereira is like, oh, this is where you're supposed to be at.
Right.
And even somebody like Figueroa, you saw his recent photos, he still looks drained.
Yeah.
And he went up 10 pounds,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
All right, so you guys
Who you
got
guys-
Bobby Green or Jalin Turner. I'm gonna go. I gotta follow the David method, like the old guy. Like let him have his due. I want Bobby Green taking this.
Oh, man. I think-
Strike Force days.
I will say Jalin Turner it's just not a good matchup for Bobby
It's
Green.
tough.
Tall, good
Jalen
knees.
Turner, too, he's so good with range. You know what I mean?
He knows his weapons.
He knows his weapons very fucking well. He's just one of those guys. I really feel like he could be a future champion.
Yeah.
And I think that Bobby Green's going to be a stepping stone for him.
I think you see in those three, they could all be champion.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Neil, Armand, Jalin. But Armand and Jalin, they have so many years ahead to keep growing,
Yeah.
which is scary.
Yeah, even if they lose now, they still have time.
Yeah.
Who you got, Nick?
I got Jalin. I'm going to go with my boy Jalin, dude.
Jason?
Same with my boy Jalin.
Ooh.
Jalin.
I'm just worried about the weight cut, dude. Because it's he
Oh, so last minute, huh?
so last minute. I don't know if that's going to mess him up, but I'm sure he wouldn't have accepted the fight if he didn't think he could do it.
I think Jalin stays pretty close to his weight.
Yeah. He's a
when I
true
talk to him.
professional.
But you know, I think the biggest thing when you saw his fight against Dan Hooker is that Dan Hooker is special in that he can turn it up when you turn it up. He won't give you any space.
He's a dog, man.
Bobby Green, I think, in that same situation, he's gonna sit back and look to load up, which plays right into Jalen's game.
Jalen might just pick him apart.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, this
we
is a
got the
great fight,
jab
too.
master himself, Rob Font.
I love Rob Font.
versus
man.
Davison Figueiredo.
I got Rob on this.
I got Rob, too.
because he's a big bantamweight.
Look at his fucking Mickey
Well,
Mouse
even
hands,
they
dude.
show his weight, 148.
That's so crazy.
Look, we just gotta be
What is
honest.
that?
We gotta be
5'8"
honest.
versus 5'5".
Is that a new stat?
Rob Font's hands
48.
are so gigantic.
Yeah.
Like when you
It is wild.
He
Look
has
at
this,
this.
he
Look
has
at
that. Look at those things. What is that?
It
He's
looks
like
photoshopped on, dude.
there's only two people who are that size who had a fist like that. Him and Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo's
He
fists.
did have some big old hands.
Big old fucking
They should
hands.
palm a basketball before they step in. I know. See how they could see what the.
But I
perspective
do
is.
appreciate the UFC not feeding Figueiredo somebody that he could just demolish.
Oh,
right?
no, this
I think this is like a challenge for him.
At
Because
135, it's like, dude, anywhere in the top 15,
anybody.
you're in trouble.
Yeah, Rob Font's a fucking monster too.
Where's Rob ranked at now?
Oh no, that's a
Is
good
he top
question.
10?
I think he's top 10.
Yeah.
Eight.
There we go.
Eight.
Number 2 for flyweight.
Look, I like omakase, so I'm going with the sushi chef. Davison, baby.
Stupid.
Let's go.
Oh my god. I forgot he was
He's a sushi chef.
Hairstylist.
Was he really?
Yeah.
In Brazil?
Yeah, he was a sushi
Oh
chef.
my goodness.
He had like all these odd jobs. Apparently, that was like a story. That
Apparently the sushi sucked too. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't know. He puts whatever he wants
Like,
in there.
this is Toro, just Tamago.
Yeah.
Who do you have for this one?
I think Raw
Font.
Dude, this fucking fight card.
Because
This is a
It's
fight
stacked.
night?
It's
That's what I say.
in
It could
Austin.
be a pay-per-view fight.
Yeah.
The
It's-
prelims are good.
Dude, the prelims.
You got Veronica Hardy versus Jamie Lynn Horth.
That's gonna be sick.
That's
like
gonna be
this
a great fight.
This is a crazy.
Sean
Shakur
Brady.
Sean Brady
fighting
versus-
at the head of the prelims.
Kevin
Sean Brady
Gastelum
and
versus
Kevin-
Sean Brady. I want Kevin to come back, man. Kelvin's got to come back.
At 170, he looked good. You guys
Yo,
see the picture
yo,
he posted?
Is he cut?
He didn't have a shirt off, but he just looked lean. He looked fucking.
Hey, that fight with him and Chris Curtis, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
great.
Oh yeah.
Kelvin Gastelum, he's a vet.
He had a little dog in him.
He
in
could
that
do
fight.
it all.
Kelvin's always so dangerous. You remember his fight with Tim Kennedy, where he retired Tim Kennedy?
So
Yep.
crazy.
Oh, dude.
Fuck.
Who retires that guy? You know.
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy's a psychopath.
But then Sean Brady is also a monster. You know what I mean?
Did you ever think about that? Tim Kennedy, after he retired from the UFC, went back into special forces.
I know.
Like, how gangster is that?
I'm
and then
retired.
after that, he went to, like, when we had the evacuation from, was it Iraq? Pulled out of Iraq.
It was in the Middle East, yeah.
He went in to go get those
Just to work.
translators and pulled them out
Yeah.
on his own with his own team.
That's insane.
And he was like 2 weeks of just going back out.
And
going
that's
back.
what he does. He just does. He did that in Ukraine. He does that.
I heard when he was
Yeah.
fighting
Israel
in the
now?
UFC, he
Yeah.
was still enlisted. He was still doing.
Yeah, he was enlisted.
So he never really did the full lifestyle of an actual fighter.
Right.
He was still doing his shit while he was fighting in the UFC.
Because what's a fist fight to him?
Right.
For reals.
You know?
And it's also like, there's military in that's like,
There's him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like above like.
that's like highest of all echelons.
So
I'm like, that's your real job, and this is your fun.
Yeah. This is your hobby.
How is this your hobby,
your
dude?
PKB.
It's his cardio workout.
I mean, forever that Yoel Romero fight and him.
Oh my god.
so heartbreaking, wasn't it?
I mean, it's
Stoolgate.
there was Stoolgate and then there was the glove grab. So
Oh my gosh.
it was just so insane.
I feel so bad for Tim on that one. Like,
Yeah.
I love your Romero, but
That was shady.
you know what it is.
It was
Yeah.
shady as fuck. It is what it is.
He got. Damn.
We rooting for Kelvin, or we got?
I'm going Kelvin, dude. I like Sean Brady. I think he's also,
He's young,
He's a
too.
stud. He's a young guy. Last fight he lost to was Belil, right?
Bilal Muhammad knocked
Bilal
him out.
Muhammad,
TK'd him.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's Bilal
TKO?
with Habib.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Habib Bilal. So I don't know.
Calvin's one of those guys, man. If his mentality is correct, his diet is right, because he has all the tools. You know what I mean? Because isn't Kelvin's background actually wrestling,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is insane.
Right.
He's very well rounded. He's
Yeah.
fought the best dudes in the world. You know.
And Sean Brady's best asset is his wrestling. So I don't know if Kelvin Gastelum is a great matchup for him. I think Kelvin's going to take this one.
Is he still with Rafael? Is he at
No,
Kings?
no, he's
Or is he in
fight
Thailand?
ready now.
Oh.
Moved back to Arizona.
Okay,
Nice.
that might be
Yeah.
good for him too.
But yeah, I think Calvin's the dark horse for sure. Like I would,
170.
I like Sean too, but I want Kelvin.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him get a chance back.
Yeah.
And if you beat him, like, you're right there now at 170 where Bilal is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I took out Sean Brady's second loss.
Yeah.
I gave him a second loss. Now I'm
And
right
he
up
tried.
in the
He
mix.
tried out 185. He was like, "Oh, maybe the weight's the issue," but he
Right.
did that and was like, "All right, 170 is where I belong."
Yep.
But I just hope the cut goes well.
Yeah, that's the big question, huh?
I bet he just has to stop drinking soda and he might be fine. At 185, he was pretty flabby. You know, I'm like,
That's one of those fighters that go up flabby, not cut.
Right.
yeah, I'm like 170. He could probably just stay there if he wanted to.
And then we got a fighter who's been in the UFC for
Clay
85 years. Clay Guida, still doing it.
He got a haircut though. Look,
Exactly, 3.0.
3.0. Clay Guida 3.
bro, you can never.
5.0.
Bro,
Clay
you
Guida
can't count him out.
5.0.
Dog. You can't count out Clay Guida.
Dude, Clay Guida has been fighting for so long. He's in the Bible, dude.
He's Old Testament fighter.
Fighter, dude. Straight up. His first grappling fight was with Jesus of Nazareth.
He goes Book of Habakkuk and then Clay Guida.
I mean, he's the carpenter for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it all makes sense, dude.
OT fighter.
He was there when Jesus was born. He was like,
If you look in the background, it's just Clay Guida in the back just punching wood.
yeah.
A young Clay.
I don't remember what Joaquin Silva's last fight was.
I don't remember either, but they're both.
Oh my God.
I think his
38-20.
last fight was against Armin.
No way.
He fought Armin
He
Tsarukyan?
fought Armin Tsarukyan. I think Armin TKO'd him from Mount.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's a messed up matchmaking.
That's fucked up.
Look at this fool's fucking. Look at Clay Guida's fight record, dude.
It is.
Look how many
Man,
fights
Clay
he's
Guida
had.
has one of the best walkouts ever. Yeah. He always brings that energy.
Oh, he's getting all the young guns.
He's one of the guys that really showed people that your conditioning matters in fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look up Joaquim Silva's.
Does
record.
Clay still do that same fight style, the jumping around?
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
It's pace, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Armin Tsarukyan. That was the last.
Oh, yikes.
Jesus Christ.
And he went from Glenn, Ronson, and then Tsarukyan.
Yeah.
That's fucking that's
No.
UFC.
That's one
matchmaker, dude.
last minute fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These matchmakers don't like him.
We got OT Clay or what?
Bro,
We got New Testament Joaquim. Which one?
I'm going Old Testament, my boy.
Of course.
I don't know.
Plus
Joaquin
260.
is New Testament at all. They're both pretty old.
Yeah.
I always got to go for Clay, though.
Yeah.
Clay.
I'm going to have to go because I'm a man of the cloth. I have to go with Clay. he was there when Jesus was there, so I'm going to be with him too.
All right. We got
Hawaii.
Mike
all the way.
Kuya,
bro.
Punalele.
Huh?
And we got Dustin. I'm not too familiar with Dustin, his previous fights.
He never really puts it up. You know, he's like, he plays it almost like a sparring match every time. Point fighting. I think Soriano's gonna.
You can't do that to Puna, bro.
Yeah.
That boy
Those
got power.
hooks.
Beast.
He has so much power.
And he just marches you down all the
Yeah.
time. He's so down for the scrap.
You got to have that jab and cross on point.
Yeah, I'm going Puna.
You got to.
Brada.
Anybody who's in Hawaii, I just go for the Hawaii.
Yeah, you go.
Of course, you got to.
Look at this dude, man. He's
What's the prelims? Let me see the prelims
Check
a
out
little bit.
this. What?
Misha.
Misha Tate.
Misha Tate's on the
Julia.
prelims, y'all.
Shout outs to her nudes. I'm not gonna lie. I googled it a little bit. Yeah. Years ago.
Years ago.
'Cause I
Before you
had
got
to.
married.
I was like,
Before
"Are
the
you
reg,
serious?"
baby.
I was like, Misha Tate nudes? No way. And I was like, oh, there it is.
Just fell on your laptop.
Yeah.
Dude, Jakar Close and Joe Selecki, that's a little fun
This
one
is good.
too.
I like this
Oh,
fight.
that's a good one.
That's a little banger right there.
Jakar Close. After Benil put him away, he kind of just started going.
Costa is a dog too.
Dude, with that
I watched him in LFA coming up. Man, he's a dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Bro, that's what guys in Ukraine look like. They should be winning the war. Christ. What the fuck
Ihor.
is this?
Look at this fucking. He's sexy as fuck.
Dude.
Man, that was so bad that they gave Shogun to him for his retirement fight.
Oh, that was who Shogun
Yeah,
fought?
yeah, they
That
go.
was
shit.
so horrible.
Yeah, what's with this matchmaking sometimes?
They're kind of mean, huh?
They're mean.
They're ruthless. Almost
Oh,
like too
Wellington
ruthless.
Turman.
Oh, Jared
He's
Gooden's
gonna
fighting.
do pretty good.
Who's Wellington? What's his
He's one of Glover's students.
Ooh.
So he has really amazing jiu-jitsu. Plinio Cruz, who's Alex Pereira's like longtime friend and training partner. He works with him over at Glover's as well. His jiu-jitsu is amazing, and then now that Alex has been there for 2 years, like his striking has gone up and up and up.
Watching this
Yeah, so
It's crazy
I
how-
always got to go with Cruz's guy.
How a fighter who comes in, obviously to work for his own camp, kind of brings up the level of everybody else. So,
Sure.
I'm seeing this now where I do understand now why they kick people out of gyms because, a wolf can come in and just ruin the whole flock of sheep. And so, we're going to obviously have a conversation about Ian Garry, and there's conversation with Ian Garry constantly being kicked out of these gyms,
Right.
which kind of makes me wonder like what's going on with him, right? Because as a coach for you, the gym culture matters a lot for fighters, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, one drip of oil in the water, it spreads. Like that toxicity is huge. So
Yeah.
it's the first thing to snuff out. And I think you even hear it from like Gary Vee talks about in business. Like, I don't care if you're like super A producer, like hard worker. Is like if you're toxic, even a little bit, out.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna take that hit because it's gonna ruin the whole culture.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like it's huge.
Let's talk about Ian Garry, huh?
Yeah, let's
Because
get-
there's been I've been kind of I was in Sacramento with family and stuff, and basically it's a bunch of fucking degenerates.
What do you know about it? What have you read?
It started. His drama always started with number one. People were talking shit about how he's a carbon copy of Conor, right? And then that conversation went into Ian Garry being disrespectful to Neil Magny, which they thought was really fucking weird. I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
This
that
is Neil Magny.
in Denver?
Yeah.
When they had their last fight. So,
Oh yeah.
Weird trash talk.
yeah, it was just weird.
How- out of context.
How can you talk shit to Magny?
know.
Magny's the nicest guy
It's
ever.
like read the room, you know?
Remember, what was it like? Maddie was like, I want to spank you like my kid. And then
Like you're like one of my boys or
and,
something.
And Gary's like, whoa, you beat your child?
Yeah, everyone's like, ugh, that was cringy. And it was just really weird. Yeah, and then it went for him, a lot of people who trained with him and then talked about his gym etiquette, how he
Right.
behaves. He's been removed from a couple of gyms, and then recently he was a part of Leon Edwards' gym, and then he got removed from that as well.
Oh, he was kicked out of Leon's gym too.
Yeah, so he's gone from there now.
And I think
when was that before or after Kill Cliff? Because he's been with Henry Hoof for a while.
Yeah,
I think recently. That was a news story that was recent, maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He went over to Team Renegade, was trying to train with them, and they were like, you know what?
Bye.
Yeah.
Same thing with
So
Kill
he was
Cliff.
with Kill Cliff, and then he went to Renegade.
I think
Yeah.
so.
And even at Kill Cliff, Brendan Allen just like today or yesterday was
that
like,
was rough.
he was like, bro, somebody knocked you out at our gym. Stop talking about shit.
Ooh.
So even they're kind of like, dude.
So what's his reputation? He goes to other gyms and tries to like be a gym hero, knocks everybody out.
I think
tries to do that.
From what I've read, I mean, obviously this was early on, so there's probably a lot more updates. Is that he is just not a team player and he's a know-it-all. So he's uncoachable. So he goes in to be coached, but then he knows everything. Right. So he's like an uncoachable person. It kind of fucks up the gym chemistry.
That's one of the worst to have. Yeah, you got to get that out right away.
Yeah, how do you even deal with that? Like, especially as a coach, when somebody comes in with that type of attitude, like in my mind, I'm like, why are you here?
I think that's one of the hardest things. I think that I'm still transitioning. Like I'm a really, I mean, I don't want to say it. Like, I want to give everyone a lot of chances.
Yeah.
Right. I'm very forgiving, but I'm starting to now be like, oh, I gotta fucking hell and brimstone a little bit more and cut people early because it fucks up everything and it 10x's the work that you have to do.
Oh, okay.
Like 10x.
That's a lot. Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's a lot from one person.
Yeah, just because like now people are unhappy. Now they're talking amongst each other. Now they're not on the same page. Now they're like comparing like who gets more attention. Like it creates more problems, and then all these emotional issues that you have to take care of, right? And have conversations. Like that's why it's 10x because no one's really willing to talk about it. So you have to go to each person and figure out what's going on, and then people aren't going to say it right out front. So like you have to pull that out.
You have to be a detective.
You're a little baby center
detective.
That's the physical therapist side of me. People are the same with injuries.
Yeah.
They're always like, "Oh, this is my knee injury." I'm like, "When did this happen?" 10 years ago. Forming your meniscus 10 years ago. It's like there's probably something else.
Yeah.
So we have to go through all of it. Like even like when they get injured, they're like, "My knee hurts." I'm like, "Okay, which knee?" It's like right knee. I'm like, you have to keep pulling all this information out.
Yeah.
Because people aren't willing to be aware to actually talk about what's going on. Same thing with emotional things.
The thing that kind of like clicks in my head, only because obviously he's like an imitation, or he idolizes Conor McGregor to be a better.
He's open about that.
But Conor McGregor too, like Kavanaugh has never said that Conor McGregor, who is this big star, isn't a team player.
Right.
Right. So it makes me question Ian Garry's personality, him as a person, where somebody who is larger than life like Conor McGregor, right? Or even outside of the gym, he's kind of like an asshole where you see him when he's drunk, he has all these issues and everything else. But inside the gym, he keeps it professional.
Right.
So I wonder what that says about Ian Garry.
I mean, it reminds me of like Floyd and all the young fighters that he mentors now. But there was, what was his name?
Adrian Broner?
Adrian Broner. Exactly. Adrian Broner. It's like the same thing. Like they look similar, but Adrian Broner really believes it. He believes his own hype. Because Floyd talks a good game, but he doesn't believe. He does the same thing.
Yeah.
Like Floyd, I always show all them fighters. I'm like, look at his jab video. You don't know when it ends. Because he does it the same exact way every time. The time in between punches, the punch sounds the same. You don't know if it was 4 or 20 punches and then it loops.
Yeah.
You don't know where the loop is. So that's the difference about Floyd. Floyd talks, but he trains, never eats bad, like he stays on his sleep.
Retired fighter.
Yeah.
Still looks in top physical shape.
Right.
Marking everybody.
And everybody says the same thing about Floyd. Where is he most of the time? In the gym.
Or sleeping.
Or sleeping or in the gym.
Running at 4 a.m.
Or beating up Japanese kickboxers.
Oh, dude.
That was that one time.
Makes
Okay?
me so sad.
Don't
So
bring that up.
what was the other stuff about him? This is the other half of Ian Garry that I didn't hear about with his wife. I don't know what that stuff is.
Yeah, so I kind of heard about this because of Sean Sean Strickland coming out. Ian Garry's wife wrote a book called WAG, which, what does that stand for again?
Wives and
girlfriends.
Big fan over here. He has a book.
Yeah. Audiobook. I got the audiobook.
And it's about how to trap a young athlete, essentially. So
Okay.
she said...
It was my Christmas gift for Nick last night.
I I didn't put it to use.
Yeah, you trapped your wife. She's like, fuck, I put this idiot.
Oh, you first engineered it. How do I set the trap?
Yeah.
To get my own whack.
Successful woman.
So
good health insurance.
She wrote that book like before they met, and then Sean Strickland kind of like called that out and said, like, look, you're 40, he's 26. You clearly are trying to trap this. She's trying to trap you, dude. I'm a homie trying to help you out. Also, you changed your last name to her ex-boyfriend, and also her ex-boyfriend lives with you. You're a fucking loser. So I think a lot of that wasn't true.
Oh, okay.
But he claimed that, and the internet went wild with that.
Right.
So a lot of it's like,
obviously, he didn't take her name, but
yeah.
But man, that's a great thing to say.
Dude, oh my God.
That's some good shit talking.
Yeah. So then it turns out that she put a video out saying that, look, the book was satirical. My ex-boyfriend does not live with me, and but he does have my last name.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's Machado, right?
yeah.
Ian.
But then that caused a lot of other fighters to speak up and be like, yeah, Ian sucks.
So that was just like the catalyst.
Yeah.
But it also kind of begs the question too. Sometimes when you kind of catapult yourself as a star and you become the center of attention, everybody's trying to knock you a peg down.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's a little bit of that.
I mean, there is that, but I think, like, for Killcliff, like, that's what I saw with Brandon. Like, he wanted to fight his former teammate.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even for a championship. Like, you understand for Kamaru and Gilbert Burns, but
It's different.
I think he wants to fight Vicente Luque.
Yeah. I think they are fighting.
Or they are fighting. I
think they're
I think it's probably they got offended because he said yes.
Yes.
That's how it always comes. Like, one person says yes first,
And that's how it's
and then, like, you find out, oh, he said yes. And it's like, okay, I thought we weren't like that, but I guess you think different.
It seems like it's a tight team over there too.
It's a tight team, and I think everyone. I didn't know. I don't know Vicente that well. Like, I've heard. I haven't really. He doesn't really put himself out there.
No, it's super.
But, like, everyone there apparently loves him. So they're
Yeah.
like, how can you go fight your teammate?
Yeah.
I mean, Luque too. I mean, obviously towards the latter part of his career now, people started figuring him out a little bit, and then now he got a little new wrinkle in his game in his last fight. His defense, his grappling defense has gotten really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Who did he fight last one?
who the fuck was it? But he didn't get a submission, but he was just defending these takedowns like it was fucking nothing. And I think because people started finding his little weakness, especially with when he fought not Benil but Bilal.
Below.
Right? And then I think he took some time off, worked on that shit. And then
that's right.
Who the fuck was trying to fight him? But they were trying to take him down and it just wasn't happening. And then he was like, I've gotten better. I'm ready now. So he's becoming more of that well-rounded fighter. Because, with Luque, too, he would take a lot of hard shots. Right. He just has this dome.
Right.
It's this gigantic head that
Big
would eat shots.
Brazilian
and
head.
He would eat it and just return something 10 times harder. So I think now that, I think he's starting to realize, like, if I want to touch this belt, I got to fix these, like, holes in my game.
How old is he?
34 or 33. I think he's getting there.
Yeah.
He's been in the game for a minute. Oh, just really quick, another thing about Ian Garry. Well, people are complaining about him too, or like shitting on him, is because he wants to sue Sean Strickland or threaten to sue Sean Strickland for defamation of his wife.
You don't do that.
And here's the thing, and then people go, interesting, you're getting angry at someone for taking your comments out of context, like how you took Neil Magny's
Right.
So that's a lot of...
Didn't he put he sold merch with Neil Magny's face on?
Or Jeff Neal.
Right.
Oh, Jeff
Neal.
Neal. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jeff Neal's
His mugshot.
His mugshot.
That's
It's
fucking
like,
offensive
come
as
on, dude.
shit.
Yeah, and it's just
All is fair.
Like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah. What?
Oh, he does have her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way he said that.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I remember that now because I remember when we were in Jacksonville, like, for the same fight. I was like, Machado, like, where'd you get that? Like,
Yeah.
you're from Ireland. Like,
You're white
That's what I
You're
thought
the
too.
whitest person ever. Like, where's Machado? Like, Spanish, like super Spanish.
Yeah.
Thing. And I was like, oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah, I think the reasoning was because he has another step kid, and he wanted his kids to all have the same last name, so he did that. So he's
That's
doing
kind of cool. She didn't write that book.
It's hard. It's hard.
He
The
didn't write
book
that
makes
book.
it hard.
The book makes it
Like,
difficult.
if you don't have the book, it's like, okay, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whoever
The book kind
breaks
of ruins it. Yeah.
whoever breaks the news first has control of the narrative, right? So like, everyone is looking at all this information with the lens of, oh, your wife's a gold digger or whatever the case is. So it's just
He's
hard.
kind of going down this route of like this young generation where they feel like they could talk shit, point fingers, but they're not used to getting it pointed back at them.
Yeah.
So it's like, listen, everything is out on the internet and you talk so much shit, you don't think people are going to dig up shit and find stuff out about you?
Right.
Unless you have a clean slate and you're open about all your flaws, then people are going to find that shit. It's like, early on in the internet with a lot of these young kids, they were looking to gain social clout by finding some kind of thing that you were doing socially immoral. And then they'll be like, I can't believe you just, I can't. And then they would gain following. And then somebody just goes, listen to the Twitter a couple of months back. Oh, you like to use the N-word with a hard R quite frequently. And they were like, I can't, and he kind of falls into this young age category where they think that they're going to just walk away scratch-free from everything, and it's not going to happen.
You'll get hit.
Dude, if you're a fighter, you can't threaten to sue a lot of people.
Anybody, you're a fighter.
It's like the Danis
can't do that too much.
Logan Paul thing.
Yeah.
Even just think when Colby tried to sue or press charges on
Jorge
Masvidal.
That's
It's not a good look. It's like
kind of lame, dude.
Like we get it, but
It's against your whole aura, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because even with they talked about Masvidal, it was like, oh, he sucker punched him. He couldn't do it in the cage. And if he would have just left it at that, Colby would have looked so good.
Right.
But he just had the suing thing just made the tables turn this way.
Right.
It's like, oh, why'd you do that? Who's in your corner? They should have told him just to leave it alone.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys too. I can't figure him out. I don't know if he's a good guy or bad guy or
Colby?
Yeah, but most people who meet him say he's a good guy.
He's a really nice guy.
It's like
I want to
but like I
playing a
can't
character.
like I'm like that character is so strong.
It's so intense, dude.
Like
It's so intense.
I can't jump on.
But it's so over the top sometimes where I just go, this has to be a character.
And I laugh at it because it's like so ridiculous.
Yeah.
because people have recordings of him just like from a distance talking to people. He's like the sweetest dude ever.
Yeah.
He seems like real nice.
Very quiet.
When he takes off his hat,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's like, oh,
Takes the shades off.
yeah.
Addresses people.
He asked
in front,
the
like-
two bikini models to leave, and he talks to kids. It's like,
But even after the second Kamaru Colby fight, you hear him, he goes up to Kamaru and he's like talking to him.
Right.
Just the body language of that. I don't know what's being said, but it looks like it's very like amicable. Like he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my bad."
That's why I just can't understand like the whole story with like I saw this beautiful video of like when Jorge Masvidal and Colby fought, and they're showing like all of them like together
Being
going
best
up.
buds?
And I'm like, that's really sad, man.
Yeah.
But like you hear it's like it's all about money for the coaches, and like Masvidal took him into his couch and like gave him a room, really brought him up. So it's sad to hear like if you're such a nice guy, like how's that story not?
Yeah.
I hope it's not true.
Yeah,
But-
and we're all from the outside looking in, so it's super hard to even put our finger on it because we just never really know.
Right.
You know, we can only speculate. So it's just for me, it's entertaining, but at the same time, like I agree with you, it's very sad.
Yeah. That's why I think it's like emotional intelligence is like the biggest thing too we talk about with our athletes, like to have these hard conversations because otherwise it just escalates. All you have to do is one conversation, one misunderstanding. Like otherwise you lose money, you lose friendships, brotherhoods. Like it sucks.
yeah.
Like are they gonna really look at the end of their career and be like, that was awesome?
Can I ask you this? This is just out of my curiosity, right? And your opinion about this. And there's a fighter that I actually really, really like. And it kind of goes into the idea of like fighter mentality. Cody Garbrandt, right? He's somebody who I look at, since the beginning of his career till now. Like he seems to seemingly have the perfect assets to be one of the best well-rounded UFC fighters in that weight division.
Of course.
But then you see him after these losses that he's taken. Do you feel that for a lot of fighters, it's not so much a skill level issue, or is it more of a mentality that fucks them up?
It's both. I mean, like, if you're fighting, like whether you're an amateur or you go all the way to the highest level, there's trauma in your life. That's why you're fighting. And I think one thing that you always hear with people, like for me, because I work with a lot of clients with other sports, like NFL, NBA, MLB. They're always like, fighting is like is one of those things that they just don't really know what to talk about. Like they're so fascinated by it because it's hitting. Like people are hitting you. Even the NFL players, they're like, oh, but you fight. I was like, you have 300-pound motherfuckers
Yeah.
sideswiping you. Like that's scary for me. But they say, but I'm not looking at it. It just happens to me. I was like, that's terrifying.
Yeah. That's even
But
worse.
it's a different mentality, right? So like, I think there's something for everyone who fights that's like, the world is against me, and so when I get hit, it feels like the world's hitting me, and I can take it and I can hit them back. And that person is just like the representation of all those people who did you bad.
Oh, wow.
Right? So, like, it's that trauma. And, of course, like, fighters get scared. Fighters get nervous. So you have to be very strong to be in there. Everyone is strong, but, like, to take it to that next level where you emotionally don't get driven out. Like, the Michael Venom Page and Kevin Holland fight. I really believe it's, like, who is emotionally able to keep themselves in check is going to win that fight. Same with Cody. Like, Cody, when he fought Dominic Cruz, like, there was no one who looked like a better fighter in the world.
Yeah.
So slick.
And the PJ ones, it was just like Cody was supposed to be the good guy in that story, right? Yeah. Like staying loyal, like representing Team Alpha Male against the Snake. But just he went for it and
impulse control.
Yeah, the impulse control.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm getting drawn into this firefight.
Right.
I dropped TJ. Oh, I can finish him.
Right.
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get this motherfucker.
Even Alex, like I would say, like maybe he got a little too overzealous on that second Adesanya fight. You already destroyed his leg. What took you 3 rounds in the last one in 1 round? Like, he was hurt.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, that's not a trap. You practiced that technique, yes, but it wasn't like that was the best situation. So if he just took his time and like
milked it
like 2 more minutes, 1 more round, like it would have been a easy win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see that kind of in the Jiri fight, right?
Right.
Hit that leg early, and then his leg's compromised for the first.
The second fight, the second kick took him out.
Yeah, just
kept falling.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, cool.
I still don't understand how people just take calf kicks. How do you just take it? There's nothing you could do. You just eat it and then you just go, okay. You just walk forward again. It hurts so bad.
Yeah.
It hurts so
That's why we're not fighters.
It hurts so bad.
That's why, like, low kicks is the hardest conversation with MMA. I'm like, they talk about all these strategies, like, oh, step out of the way, pull their leg back. I'm like, or you could just pick up your leg.
Chat.
Like, it's not
Don't
that
plant
hard.
it.
Yeah. How do people get used to low kicks? Like, because it hurts so much. Like, if I get hit in the leg hard, I just go, I'm done for the day, and I just walk out. I'm like, we're done. Like, I'm not doing this. And this was always like, keep going, keep going. I'm like,
I think it's good to like take them, and then it's better to learn how to check.
Just get the hell
so
out.
You don't get
Yeah.
take them.
oh God, it's just
Learn how to
We
check.
even train. Like, to be honest, like one thing that if you're always training your stance, try switching stances, just drilling, and taking the kick on the other leg. It's so deconditioned, you'll feel like, oh my God, I can't take even 3.
Yeah.
On the other side, I can take a lot because you're always taking right low kicks if you're orthodox. Southpaw, you might move to southpaw, but you haven't really experienced that kick that much.
Yeah.
We actually train our fighters like when they throw their kicks, like to throw from southpaw and also land it, like take that leg, because like Kevin Ross is so good at that switch left kick to the back thigh, and man, that shit hurts so bad.
Yeah, how you supposed to get my back leg?
Because like I'm not conditioned to it.
Yeah.
I remember like, he hit me. I was holding pads. I was like those Fairtex pads.
Yeah.
I was like, those Fairtex pads might as well not been there. Shout out to Kevin.
Oh man.
That's so
cool. That was a fun podcast.
That was awesome.
We went really long on that one.
We needed to, though.
had to.
All the stories.
This shit went fast.
As I said, final question: will you train David for an amateur fight?
Absolutely not. I have a retinal tear just like him. I
I have retinal tear on my knee.
have a retinal tear. I have no meniscus in my right knee. Dude, are you fucking insane?
We've been trying to get David to do us like a influencer fight, or like,
No, I told him.
look it up. Hey,
I literally said $1 million. I'm not doing it
Yeah.
because it's going to take the life force out of me. I would have to drop everything because I'm not trying to go out there and get knocked out. I refuse. So I would drop everything. Leave my wife. I would fucking stop doing all my business shit.
hey, take over Genius Brand.
Yeah.
I would live in the gym.
Good luck.
Constantly. Because it's just I don't want to go out there and get knocked out. I mean, it's just trauma.
Makes sense.
That's the right way to do it, though.
Yeah.
I guess.
But for $1 million.
Yeah, I suck dick for $1 million. So there's a lot of.
The price tag is up there.
You have to ask, like, could you have done it for $10 million?
Listen, my number is actually really low.
He didn't even jump to the
when
10. He
people
was
go like this, they go, "Hey, would you suck?" I'm like, "Yes." What's the number?
$10.
Hey, I'm not Joe
I'll find the
Tsukala,
number.
right?
It's like, why would you do it for 100?
We were like, for 100, what would he do then at this point?
Dr. Jason Park, do you have anything final words? Anything you got going on? Any fights coming up?
We have one fighter, Anthony Romero, fighting this Saturday. Up next fighting. So that'll be our last fight for the year, and then next year's gonna be a pretty busy year. I'm excited to watch Myles Garrett play against the Rams this weekend.
Ooh.
So that's gonna be fun to watch. That man is talk about monsters. Myles Garrett is a monster.
Yeah.
Athletically.
I've never seen anyone move like him. He beat my eye test. Like we were doing a vertical jump, and I usually know how to position myself. I was like, okay, he's that size. He's athletic. I had to step back because he jumped up so fast. That guy's a monster.
Some people are just born different, dude. I feel like if I went to my lineage, everybody was a fairy or something. Because I'm built like a paper mache project.
Yeah, you and me both.
Some people are just different. Like, especially, you know, we have a buddy named Johnny, and he's like my size. But, you know, you hug him, and I'm like, oh, I'm a bitch. Yeah. Like, because he just feels so sturdy.
He's made out of steel.
Just built different, dude. Because like he cross-checked one of my kicks, and I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. My shin shattered into a million pieces, and you keep bringing him in.
I have 2 retinal tears.
You keep inviting him.
Yeah, I like him though.
Guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and give it up for Dr. Jason Park.